Welcome to Travel Tutor. In this episode, we're going to look at booking on aircanada.com. Once you're on the page, you'll notice this gray box in the middle. That's where we're going to enter our search criteria. So be sure to have the Flights tab selected. Air Canada offers round-trip flights, one-way flights, and multi-city flights. For this example, we're going to look at round-trip. So we'll start by typing the name of our departure city in the From box. If there's more than one city with the same name, or that city has more than one airport, you'll get a drop-down menu. So be sure to select the correct option. So we're going to look at Toronto Pearson. And next we'll start typing the name of our destination in the To box. I'm going to use Vancouver. Next, let's enter our dates. So for this example, let's use August 6th, returning on August 10th. We'll enter the number of people traveling. You can enter up to 9 at a time. Let's stick with 1. And if you have a promo code, you'll enter it here in the promotion code box. If you don't, just leave that blank. So we're good, so let's hit Find. One nice thing is while Air Canada is loading the search options or the flight options, it gives us a reminder of the criteria we just entered. So it's a good time to look it over and make sure what you entered is correct. So make sure the city pair is correct, the dates, and the number of travelers. It's better to catch a potential mistake now than an actual mistake after you've made the booking. So first we're going to look at the outbound flight options. Across the top, it gives you the fare or the best fare of the day for the 3 days prior and the 3 days after the date you entered. So if you're a little bit flexible, you may be able to get a lower fare. So our fare for Monday, August 6th is not the least expensive. We could leave a day later. It's $4.49, but I'm going to stick with this date. Maybe I just need to be there on the Monday. And across the top, you'll see the 3 cabin options on this route. So economy, premium economy, and business. If you'd like to learn more about what is that cabin has to offer, or what that fare is, you can click on Explore, which is a link underneath. On the left side are the flight options. They're arranged from earliest to latest, starting with the direct flights and moving to the indirect or flights with a connection. So the lowest fare for this date was $4.83. So it's available for early in the morning. And there's some in the middle here as well, which is good. This option looks good. Leaving Toronto at 11 a.m., arriving to Vancouver at 1 p.m., taking the time difference into account. It's a direct flight. It's 5 hours in duration, and Air Canada offers Wi-Fi for sale. That looks good. So I'm going to select that fare, and we're going to get a further drop-down menu. Air Canada breaks their economy fares into 3 levels: Tango, Flex, and Latitude. You can see as we move up towards Latitude, the fare increases. That's because the Tango fare is the most restrictive, and Latitude is the most unrestrictive, meaning you can cancel and change with no fee. For this example, I'm going to stick with the Tango fare. So let's select the fare in the red box. Now we've got the return flight options. So again, if I can return a little bit earlier, it's less expensive, or even 1 day later. I'm just going to keep my return date on Friday. The lowest fare is $4.60. So it looks like these are all $4.75 or higher. Let's keep scrolling down and see if we can find one for $4.60. Let's see. Yep, so the $4.60 fare is available only if I want to connect on the return. So that's a connection at Kelowna. For $4.75, $15 more, I'll take a direct flight. To me, that's worth it. So something at a good time. This one looks good. Leave Vancouver at 12:30 in the afternoon and arrive into Toronto at 7:56. 4 hours, 26-minute flight duration, and it's direct. Great, so I'm going to select that fare. Again, I'm going to get the menu with the Tango, Flex, and Latitude. Let's just select Flex. And we're going to move on now to a summary of what we've just selected. So take this opportunity to review and make sure the flights you selected are the ones that you'd like to go ahead with. So it gives you the dates, the city pair, the same flight information that was on the previous 2 pages, reminds you of the fare level that you selected, and gives you a little rundown of what that means. So that looks good. Now here's an opportunity or an offer to upgrade to business. It's not cheaper to select the upgrade here versus selecting it instead of the economy fare on the previous 2 pages. It just lays it out for you in a different format. It tells you what you get with that business class fare and allows you to upgrade just one direction or both. So I'm going to pass on the business class upgrade today and move down to where it gives me the total price. So it's $958.05. If I want to have a further breakdown or know what makes up that $958.05 fare, I'm going to select view price breakdown, and it gives me the taxes, the HST and the GST and all that good stuff. Great, that looks good. So I'm going to hit continue. If you have an Aeroplan account, you can log in here to make the booking through that account. Otherwise, you can hit continue as a guest. Now Air Canada is going to offer us some additional add-ons we can purchase. These will vary depending on your departure city and your destination. So we have the option to buy a prepaid Air Canada Bistro voucher or premium travel assistance. You can click these little downward arrows if you'd like a description of what that means. I'm going to pass on these for today and just hit continue. Next, we're going to enter the passenger information. We want to be extra careful on this page because the name needs to match the traveler's ID exactly. So when you're traveling within Canada, the minimum acceptable is a driver's license or a provincial ID card. You can also use a passport, but it's not necessary. When you're traveling to the US or internationally, you need at minimum a Nexus card for the US or a passport international, just a passport. So we want to make sure that we type the name carefully. Everything matches exactly. If there's a middle name, be sure to include it. So we're going to use John Smith for this example. If you or the traveler has a frequent flyer number, you can enter it here. You would just select the appropriate airline that you have the frequent flyer with. So let's say that John Smith has a Swiss Air Miles and More. We would select that. And this program number box pops up, and that's where we would enter the number. So for this example, we're going to leave that blank and say that John Smith does not have a frequent flyer. So let's leave that. We want to enter the best contact phone number, either for yourself or for the traveler. Air Canada will often reach out if there's a flight cancellation or a significant delay. If mobile number is not the best, you can select home, work, or a number at your destination. You can also enter more than one phone number just by clicking on add another phone number. And we're going to enter the email address. This is where Air Canada is going to send the flight confirmation. So we need to be extra careful to make sure that's correct, or we won't receive our confirmation. Great, that looks good. So let's hit continue. So Air Canada is letting us know that next we're going to have the opportunity to select seats. If you remember, we selected the lowest fare, which was Tango. With the Tango fare, the seats selection is not included. If you want to assign your seats now, there is a fee associated with it. And it tells us this across the top. So depending on the type of seat, it ranges from $23 up to $69. If we had selected a higher fare, such as the Flex fare or the Latitude fare, there would be no fees associated with the seat selection. I would recommend paying for seat selection if possible, especially if you're traveling for something important and you need to arrive exactly when you're supposed to arrive. If you're traveling for a business meeting or to a wedding or another important event, how it works is if Air Canada oversells your flight, and they do oversell flights, the ones that are bumped are usually the ones that don't have the seats assigned. So it's really important that you assign your seat. If you don't want to pay and you're okay to, maybe have go on a later flight, or you're a little bit flexible, you can assign your seats 24 hours prior by checking in online. So I'm going to select some seats here. So John Smith likes aisles, so I'm going to select 14C. And it tells us at the top how much that costs. Great. So this blue bar will eventually disappear. And I'm going to select next flight so I can select the seat for the return. So hopefully we can get him an aisle close to the front. That way is first on or first off. So 17C, great. Let's select that. Again, it's going to be the same price. Oops, I don't think it's selected. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so I just need to wait for that blue bar to disappear, and we'll hit continue. So next, Air Canada is just going to give us a summary here of the total cost of the seat. So it's an additional $45.20, reminds us of our seat numbers, and it gives you an opportunity if you're like, oh, I actually would prefer a window, or I don't like that seat, you can go back and change it. You actually can go back and change it anytime by bringing up your booking on aircanada.com if you change your mind, or maybe you're traveling with someone else and you're trying to match up. So not a problem if you want to change your seat, you're not locked in. Okay, so a final opportunity here just to review before we enter our payment and actually confirm. So in the top left corner, here's the name. So let's just double check, make sure it's spelled correctly. Again, it gives us all the fare information, all the flight information. So just review it and make sure it's correct. They give you an opportunity to purchase insurance. Insurance is something that we'll cover in another episode. So I'm just going to select no thanks for this one and move on. So here's the grand total, including your seats. Again, it gives you the opportunity to click View Price Breakdown if you want a more detailed breakdown of what is included in that fare. And finally is the payment section. So Air Canada gives you a few options for payment. If you have an Air Canada gift card, you would select that option. Otherwise, you can pay by credit card or by debit online or interact online. So most people are going to enter credit card. So you would just select the little button next to it and some more boxes will open up. So you'd enter the credit card number, of course, the expiry, the name. You also need to enter the billing address. Air Canada will match them up just to prevent any fraud. And it's going to auto-populate the email address you entered previously. So just make sure finally that that's correct so that you get your confirmation. Once you're ready to go ahead, you'll select I accept purchase. Then Air Canada is going to take maybe 30 seconds or as long as 2 minutes, and that's them actually confirming your booking. You'll get a confirmation code that is 6 characters in length. It's a mix of letters and numbers. Be sure to write that down because that's the reference for your booking. So if you want to view your booking online or you need to call Air Canada, you want to do your check-in, you're going to need that code. It's super important, so be sure not to lose it. Thanks for joining this episode of the Travel Tutor. Let us know in the comments below if you have any questions and if there's any topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes. Be sure to click on subscribe. We're here to help you get the most out of booking your travel.